Greetings, Love Posse. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. Today's message: no choice, no sex. When I use the descriptors Black people, white people, etc., I'm using those descriptors because those are the descriptors of 3D reality to describe the formless, the nameless. Race, as I've said many, many times, is a social construct. So I merely use those descriptors because most people wouldn't understand if I said the nameless, formless. Second, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to women of the world, and especially in the United States. I consider myself grateful and blessed because I'm 54 years old, so I have no more eggs. But any woman who suffers, child who suffers, human being who suffers, we all suffer. And third, most people believe that slavery was abolished and has ended in this country, United States of America. But there's still slavery. People are still being enslaved. People of color, children, even nature is enslaved, and women have always been enslaved. Women of all colors, creeds, what have you, have always been enslaved. Their body is enslaved. People of color know this. So I'm specifically speaking to so-called white women. Most white women are enslaved and oppressed by their fathers, their husbands, and their brothers. It's time that you see this. And I tell you this out of love because you are my sisters. All women are my sisters. And those unconscious fathers, husbands, and brothers use their power. And they have brought into their fold, with their power and their money and their influence, lawmakers, the Supreme Court of the United States, which has become a slave master, which has become an instrument to oppress and enslave women's bodies. So, now to the message. No choice, no sex. Oscar Wilde said, everything in the world is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. Since the 17th century, women all over the world understood that sex was power. And they used sex, the withholding of sex, to end wars, to get roads paved, to gain political power and access, to call attention to issues that were important and meaningful. So, women of the world, and especially in the United States, I challenge you to use your power of sex, your yoni power, and tell the world, tell men, tell these lawmakers, these courts, the Supreme Court of the United States, no choice, no sex. We protest by withholding sex. A sex strike until we are seen and heard and treated like human beings, until our bodies are returned back to us. And our sisters out there, our unconscious sisters that follow blindly, that have acquiesced and adopted the unconscious masculine of power and control, and are now participating in the control and suffering of their sisters. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you, sisters. I'm praying for all of us. You've forgotten who you are. Just like the masculine that's out of control, that's in fear. See, controlling another human being's body is about power. It's about fear. But there are also other politics involved. See, in the United States, they're preoccupied with race and numbers and being majority in terms of numbers. So if abortion, which is a health procedure, if this health procedure is outlawed, then white women have to have babies. Even though it also means people of color, women of color, have to have babies. But in the unconscious white mind, I believe the thought process is, let them have their babies. We'll keep them poor. They're going to struggle, they're going to be poor, so their babies are not going to amount to anything. And they're unhealthy, so some of the babies might die. And their lifespan is not long, so they'll die out. But we will have our babies. We will have our armies. We will have our numbers and be the ruling majority. We will rule the world. Pinky, what are we going to do today? Rule the world. See, it's partly about numbers and being the majority. But guess what? In terms of numbers, people of color around the world are already the majority. And I don't care how many babies you have. We're evolving into the oneness, the formless, the nameless. So it's meaningless. It's more nonsense. But you have to be aware to see it. And sadly enough, the collective, these men and women in fear seeking to control a woman's body are not conscious enough to see it. So we'll pray for them. But for now, we protest non-violently by withholding sex. I'm a lesbian, so you heterosexual women, protest by withholding sex. No choice, no sex. One of my favorite authors is Dr. Brian Weiss. He wrote the book, Only Love is Real. If you have a chance and have the money, please buy this book. I highly recommend this book. If you are on a spiritual awakening consciousness path, please read this book. If you believe that suicide and abortion is a sin and goes against God, please read this book. If you are open to growth and expanding and new knowledge, open-minded, please read this book. I would like to read a passage from this book. Dr. Brian Weiss is not only noted for being a best-selling author, he's Harvard and Yale trained, I believe, and also he's a past life regression practitioner. And in this book, what I'm about to read you, he is asking or talking about abortion. It reads, an abortion or a miscarriage usually involves an agreement between the mother and the soul that would enter the body. Either the baby's body would not be healthy enough to carry out its planned task in the coming life, I continued, or the timing was not right for its purposes, or the outside situation had changed, such as the desertion of the father when the baby's or mother's plans required a father figure. Sometimes our old fixed beliefs interfere with the acquisition of new knowledge. And this last point, you can never harm or kill a soul. The soul is immortal and indestructible. It will find a way to return if that is the plan. The soul is immortal, indestructible. You can never kill or harm a soul. These unconscious people who believe that abortion is a sin, is murder, is killing, it goes against God. God has nothing to do with it. Stop bringing God in our human shit. We're making these choices. We're the ones with the destructive, unconscious mindset. God gives us so much knowledge so that we can develop and evolve and grow. But we choose to stay stuck, small in the mind. Grow the hell up. Learn. Experience. So these people who believe in these falsehoods about sin and killing and murdering a fetus, they know nothing about the soul. They have these religions but know nothing about the soul. The soul cannot die. We are the nameless, the formless. We are energy and light. We cannot die. Soul of Posse. There are many women out there also participating in the suffering of other women. All we can do is be who we are. Show and radiate love and compassion and kindness. But we can also protest. We have a voice. We can talk to our sisters. We can be an example. We can speak our truth. We can educate our sisters and our brothers. We can show the world, show these lawmakers, we can show the United States Supreme Court that it's time to wake up because they are so deep in a coma. Our conscious fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons, join us. Please, it's time that we stop this separation. It's time that we let go of the fear of the other. In this case, women. We're the so-called other. It's time we stop this domination. It's time we stop the mindset that we die. We are energy, we're light, we're stardust. We are the formless, the nameless, the soul. We are eternal. There's no sin. Sin means to miss the mark. We are not sinners. We are all divine. We are all parts of the oneness, of the one consciousness. This is part of our evolution. We need to resolve this once and for all. We have so much to learn, so much to release, so much to resolve. This is just one of the many illusions that we are working on at this time. We're healing, attempting to heal at this time on the planet. So here we are. Let's do this. No choice, no sex. Let's do this, Love Posse. Let's work together. All women. And those men who are conscious, please join us. We need you. We need each other. We must heal and end this dis-ease, this sickness of control and power, oppression and enslavement of people, of women, of children, of Mother Earth. Be love, be light, be compassion and kindness. Love Posse. No choice, no sex. No choice, no sex. No choice, no sex. And so it is, blessed be in Jesus' name. I want to thank you, Love Posse. I love you. The divine loves you. The divine loves you. Don't allow people to manipulate you and tell you this goes against God. It's a fucking lie. The divine loves you and will always love you. You, Love Posse, are loved. Namaste. Namaste.